Imagine, if you will, stepping outside on a seemingly ordinary day. You look up at the sky, expecting perhaps a gentle shower or the warm embrace of the sun. But what if, instead, you witnessed something utterly unbelievable? What if the rain falling upon your face was not clear but a startling rusty red? Or what if, instead of water, small silvery fish began to fall from the clouds, tumbling onto the streets and fields around you? These are not scenes from a fantastical storybook or a filmmaker's wild imagination. These are real events, documented throughout human history, that have left us bewildered and humbled. They are Mother Nature's strangest secrets, moments when the familiar rules of our world seem to bend and break in the most spectacular fashion. These phenomena challenge our very understanding of the natural world. They serve as profound reminders that even in our modern age of scientific advancement, there are forces at play that can still inspire a deep and primal sense of wonder. For centuries, our ancestors looked upon such events with a mixture of fear and reverence, attributing them to the whims of gods or as omens foretelling great change. Today we seek answers not in mythology but in the intricate and often chaotic dance of atmospheric physics, meteorology, and biology. There are few sights as unsettling as that of red rain. Throughout history, this phenomenon, often called blood rain, has been seen as a terrifying omen, a sign of divine wrath or impending disaster. Ancient texts from Rome, ancient texts from India, describe days when the skies seemed to weep blood, staining the ground in a ghastly crimson hue and striking fear into the hearts of all who witnessed it. For millennia, the cause was a complete mystery, fueling superstitions and legends passed down through generations. The most famous modern case occurred in Kerala, India, in the summer of 2001. For 2 months, sporadic downpours of scarlet rain fell across the region. The rain stained clothes pink and collected in pools of deep red. Initial theories: a meteor explosion high in the atmosphere or desert dust blown in from afar. The truth was stranger. It was not distant dust, nor fallout from a celestial event. The color came from something microscopic and alive. Careful scientific analysis revealed the culprit: a massive concentration of microscopic spores from a locally abundant green algae, Trentipolia annulata. The algae typically grow on tree trunks and on damp surfaces. They released vast quantities of reproductive spores into the atmosphere. The spores were swept up into rain clouds and mixed with water droplets. When the rain fell, it carried countless tiny red particles, producing the blood-red downpours. It was biological, not meteorological, proof of the microscopic world's power and nature's interconnectedness. Of all the strange tales of weather, perhaps none is more bewildering than the raining of animals: fish falling from the sky, frogs falling from the sky, other small creatures falling from the sky. Accounts appear in ancient writings and continue to be reported to this day. Pliny the Elder documented such events nearly 2,000 years ago. In 2000, a shower of small fish rained down upon Great Yarmouth, England. And in Yoro, Honduras, the Lluvia de Pisces happens at least once a year. The locals celebrate it with a festival. It sounds like a tall tale, yet it's a documented reality. The scientific explanation is as dramatic as the phenomenon itself. It's believed to begin with a waterspout, a tornado that forms over a body of water, be it a lake, a river, or the sea. As this swirling vortex moves across the water's surface, its intense updraft acts like a giant vacuum cleaner. It can suck up not just water, but also schools of small fish, clusters of frogs, or even crabs and squid. Once lifted into the sky, they are carried within the storm cloud. Powerful winds can transport them for many miles, high above the ground, caught in a turbulent, watery prison. They remain suspended until the storm weakens. As the updraft can no longer support their weight, gravity takes over, and the creatures fall back to Earth, along with the rain. This explains why reports almost always involve a single species of small aquatic creature, whatever was in the wrong place at the wrong time. A stunning, almost terrifying display of the raw power of wind and water, a reminder that the forces shaping our weather can interact with the living world in astonishing ways. Nature's elements, fire, earth, air, and water, usually exist in their own distinct realms. But on rare occasions they can combine to create something truly terrifying and hypnotic: the fire tornado, or firenado. This is not a tornado that is on fire, but rather a vortex of flame and smoke that rises from a large, intense blaze on the ground. It is a swirling column of fire that dances and twists, reaching heights of hundreds, sometimes even thousands of feet. Its roar can be deafening, and its destructive power is immense, capable of uprooting trees and intensifying the very fire that gave it birth. The creation of a firenado requires a large and intensely hot fire, such as a wildfire or the aftermath of a volcanic eruption. Intense heat drives a rapid column of rising air. Cooler air rushes in from all sides. If winds are turbulent or terrain induces rotation, this inflow begins to spin, much like a figure skater pulling in their arms to spin faster. The spinning column tightens and intensifies, pulling flames and embers upward, creating the visible swirling pillar of fire. The firenado becomes its own engine, feeding on fresh oxygen, which makes the fire burn even hotter and more violently. In 2018's Car Fire, a massive firenado, with winds over 140 miles per hour, tore through Reading. Nearly 1,000 feet wide at its base, it showed how meteorological conditions and a terrestrial wildfire can combine into a stark, fiery reminder of volatility. In the coldest corners of our world, under skies of brilliant, piercing blue, a truly magical weather phenomenon can occur. It is known as diamond dust. Imagine a winter's day so cold the very air seems to sparkle. Tiny, almost invisible crystals hang suspended in the atmosphere, catching sunlight and scattering it into a million glittering points of light. It's not snowing, nor is it foggy. The air is perfectly clear yet filled with a shimmering ethereal haze, as if dusted with tiny diamonds. Diamond dust forms under specific extreme conditions, temperatures typically below -20 degrees Celsius, and very calm air. Water vapor can bypass liquid and deposit directly as ice. Minuscule, perfectly formed crystals, often no larger than a grain of flour. They don't fall like snow, they remain suspended, drifting on the slightest currents. When the sun is low, sunrise or sunset, light passing through their simple hexagonal shapes refracts and reflects, creating sundogs, light pillars and halos, ghostly echoes of light around the sun. This phenomenon is nature's microscopic artistry. To walk through a field of diamond dust is surreal, biting cold on your skin, yet gentle, glittering light all around. A rare, fleeting wonder, magic found even in the harshest places. As a severe thunderstorm approaches, the sky often darkens to a menacing shade of gray, or a bruised, purplish black. But on rare occasions, a different and far more eerie transformation takes place. The sky begins to glow with an unnatural, sickly green light washing the world in an otherworldly hue. For many, it feels like standing on an alien planet. This green sky is an uncommon sign of an exceptionally powerful storm, often with very large hail or even a tornado. For years, meteorologists debated the cause: reflection from lush green foliage, hail scattering light inside the cloud. The accepted explanation is more complex. It involves the color of light and huge amounts of water in severe storms. Water absorbs red light and scatters shorter wavelengths. In towering cumulonimbus clouds 10 miles high, sunlight entering this dense watery environment has its red wavelengths absorbed, leaving light richer in blues and greens. When this predominantly blue-green light exits the storm and mixes with the reddish-yellow light of late afternoon or evening, our eyes perceive green, the storm acting as a giant color filter. The deeper and more water-rich the cloud, the stronger the effect. That emerald canopy is a beautiful, terrifying optical cue. You're near one of the atmosphere's most powerful creations. In the silent, frigid expanses of the polar regions, where the sea meets the impossibly cold air, a rare and delicate spectacle can unfold. On the surface of newly formed sea ice, intricate spiky blossoms appear to grow, delicate crystalline structures known as frost flowers. They can form dense gardens, carpeting the ice like frozen white blossoms, each one uniquely detailed, ephemeral wonders, gone with the wind or a shift in temperature. Formation occurs at the boundary of solid, liquid, and gas. When air temperatures plunge far below the warmer new ice, vapor escaping through imperfections meets frigid air and freezes instantly. Initial crystals act as seeds. Vapor is drawn to them, growing feathery, hoarfrost-like shapes. As they grow, they wick brine from the sea ice surface, 3 to 5 times saltier than ocean water, creating a unique chemical environment. Astonishingly, frost flowers teem with life. Bacteria concentrations can be millions of times higher than in the water below, temporary, microscopic oases thriving in the polar cold. Not just a beautiful quirk of physics, they are vibrant, living microhabitats. Proof that even the harshest environments foster delicate, vital ecosystems. In a remote corner of northern Australia, near the Gulf of Carpentaria, one of the world's most predictable yet spectacular meteorological phenomena occurs. It is the morning glory. A giant, rolling, perfectly cylindrical cloud, sometimes in multiple parallel lines stretching end to end across the sky, up to 600 miles long, only a mile or two wide, a few thousand feet high, and racing across the sky at up to 40 miles per hour like a colossal tumbling wave. The morning glory is a roll cloud, a rare solitary wave, or soliton, detached from any parent storm system. Overnight, Coral Sea and Gulf breezes collide over Cape York. As land cools, a moist layer becomes trapped beneath a warm, dry layer, an inversion. The wave travels westward, lifting moist air at its leading edge. Rising air cools and condenses into the smooth tubular cloud. Air sinks behind it, leaving pristine clear sky in its wake. For the Gangalida people, the Kang Kalki, morning glory clouds, have long marked the arrival of the windy season. Today, glider pilots converge on Burketown to surf the wave, positioning their aircraft in the rising air and riding for hundreds of miles, witnessing one of nature's most orderly and majestic creations. From rains of crimson to fiery tornadoes to glittering diamond dust to living flowers of frost, we have explored but a few of its strangest secrets, each one a powerful story of the intricate and often baffling forces that shape our world. These are not just scientific curiosities, they are moments of profound spectacle that connect us to the raw and untamed spirit of the natural world. They challenge our desire for order and predictability, reminding us that our planet remains a place of deep and abiding mystery. Each phenomenon is a testament to the complex interplay of physics, chemistry, and biology on a planetary scale. A simple spore can color the rain, a quirk of wind and water can lift life into the sky. A collision of sea breezes can create a wave that travels for hundreds of miles. These events reveal hidden connections, showing how the microscopic influences the macroscopic, and how elements combine in ways that defy imagination. As we study the atmosphere, we'll unravel more mysteries, yet new questions will arise. Earth's climate is so complex it will always hold secrets. This is not a cause for frustration, but for celebration. Therefore, the next time you look up, do so with wonder. Because the ordinary can turn extraordinary in a heartbeat, inviting us to observe, to question, and to stand in awe of our magnificent, unpredictable, endlessly fascinating world.